What are you here for, friend?
I'm here then. You said in the alehouse that you could do with a helping hand at the forge, didn't you?
I could. My last two hands, well, they're not worth mentioning. And what with the wedding coming up, the work is piling up. Ah, what's your name? Henry?
That's right.
You said something in the tavern about being a blacksmith's son, didn't you?
Aye, that's me. My father was a swordsmith, and not just any. He even forged swords for the nobility.
For the nobility, eh? Well, that kind of experience will come in very handy for me indeed. As it happens, I have to forge a wedding present for young Lord Semine. A fine sword.
So you'll take me on?
Hold your horses. I'll have to try you out first. You could forge me a hunting sword as a test, so I can see if you can make a straight blade. That shouldn't give you much trouble if your father was a swordsmith, should it?
Sure thing. I can get started right away.
Great. Find some iron and get started then.
Iron?
You can't make a sword out of butter, but if you don't have your own stuff, you can get everything from the chest in my forge. I'm sorry. Go over to the anvil and let's get started. Furnace is cold now. Give it a practice try. Some things, like swords, are too long to fit in the fire. You have to heat it up a bit harder and try to open it around you. God, what's wrong with you? You're standing there. You've got to move it around. Get the burn. Nice and hot. And the lever above. Give it a push. Work it out.
This is the third time. Try moving the sword along the anvil, and you can get the hang of it. Now take the hammer and try hitting it a few times. Well, what's the hold up? Give it a try. Hit it a few times. Go for it. See the sparks? That's the sign of a good strike. The more sparks, the better. Also, you can hammer with different degrees of power. A stronger hit will do more, but it'll tire you out faster. Try giving it a few blows, as hard as you can, so I can see how strong you are. That's got a nice ring to it. Of course, it was all about hitting an anvil with a hammer. Any dog could do it. You've got to hammer the workpiece evenly. One hit next to the other.
So what then? You can't handle it. I'll have to make nails instead. Jesus, it has to be even. Henry, focus. Give it a try. So what then? If you can't handle it, I'll have you make nails instead. Very nice. You're doing just fine. But when I say evenly, I mean it. A sword has two sides, like a lot of other things, including myself. Turn it over and continue on the other side. Nice. Now try forging
both sides. The closer it is to being finished, the more it will take on the shape you want. It'll cool off soon anyway.
You have a time
It's cooled now. You can't do it all in one go. You've got to put it back in the furnace from time to time. Sometimes you've got to go there and back all day. But it's all part of the craft. Now, get back to the forge and heat it all up again, like before. See how it's taking on the right shape? That's how you can tell it's almost finished. Now, I've got a piece of advice for you. Hammer to a rhythm. When I hammer a piece to a beat, the work goes by easier. Sometimes I'll whistle to myself to keep the rhythm going. That's a nice whistle. It's easier to ring you once. That's some nice whistling. It's easier to forge to a rhythm, isn't it? Keep on whistling. Make sure you keep up the tempo. Very nice. I see you know how to keep on rhythm. There you go. You've got it finished. All that's left is to temper it, and the sword will be done. The rest is just cheating. Right, let's have a look. Well, I've seen better blades, but it's not complete rubbish. I could give you a chance. Even so, keep in mind, it's all about making sure every strike does its job. That's why you can't let it get cold, or keep striking the same spot. If you work evenly, each strike falling right next to the last one, you can't go wrong. Got that? Or is there something else you want to ask about?
What good does it do me to whistle while I work?
It makes you work to a rhythm. You won't get tired so quickly.
How do I know a good strike from a bad one?
By the sparks that fly up, it rings out with a different sound when you do it right.
What's the right way to heat up the workpiece?
Do it till it turns the color of straw. Ideally, the color should be the same everywhere. If your forging's going to be even, the main thing is, don't work it cold. You just ruin it. But don't overheat it either. As soon as sparks start to fly off it in the furnace, take it out.
Why should I forge evenly?
If you keep hammering the same spot, you'll never finish it. You'll just fuck it up. But jumping from one end to the other ain't a good idea neither. You'd end up working unevenly. The best thing to do is aim each strike next to the one before.
How will I know it's finished?
Notice the shape. The closer you are to finishing, the more precise the shape it will have.
Thanks. That's all I need to know.
You can sleep in the chamber by the woodshed. And there's a chest where you can keep your things. And of course, you can use the forge anytime you want. Any questions?
Where can I...
You can buy some essentials from me. But if you want to make a fancy sword with lots of ornamentation, you'll have to look elsewhere. This is just a village, you know. The locals ain't after luxury. They can't afford it neither.
What can I do with the items I've forged?
Well, you can sell them, though you probably won't have much luck around here. But I'll happily buy some of the nicer things from you.
Where exactly is my bed?
At the side of the house. There are 2 doors and a wheelbarrow between them. You go in by the rear door, next to the woodshed, and you can put your things in the chest there. Don't worry, nobody will steal them.
What now?
What do you think? You're not going to be idle. I'll find you some work to do right away. You're pretty good at swords, but what the locals really need is axes and horseshoes. Right. Here are some simple drawings that show what they're both supposed to look like. And some iron. You can get down to it right away.
Just like that? You aren't going to help me?
Sacre, lad. I chose you because you already know a thing or two. I'm not going to look over your shoulder all bloody day. You take care of these smaller jobs. Forge away as long as you're able, and then sell it all. Once you've made some coin and feel like being out in the open again, I'll give you some more interesting work.
Worried about the...
All right.
How's this?
That sounds really interesting. Very well, then. You're doing business. Take care. How can I help you today?
I'd like to look...
What do you want to...
There's a couple more things I'd like...
Ask away.
Thanks. I'm still not really sure of myself in the...
Why not? Better. Why don't you forge me another hunting sword?
Yeah.
Let's see what you can do then. Get to it. I want to see how you'll fare. Furnace is cold now. Give it a practice try. Some things, like swords, are too long to sit in the fire. You have to heat it up. Right, what you want. And you heated the whole thing up. Nicely done. Now you can go straight to the anvil. Try moving the sword along the anvil and you can get the hang of it. Now take the hammer and try hitting it a few times. See the sparks? That's a sign of a good strike. The more sparks, the better. Also, you can hammer with different degrees of power. A stronger hit will do more, but it'll tire you out faster. Try giving it a few blows, as hard as you can, so I can see how strong you are. That's got a nice ring to it. Of course, if it was all about hitting an anvil with a hammer, any dolt could do it. You've got to hammer the workpiece evenly. One hit next to the other. Very nice. You're doing just fine. When I say evenly, I mean it. The sword has two sides, like a lot of other things, including myself. Turn it over and continue on the other side. Now try forging it on both sides. The closer it is to being finished, the more it will take to the shape you want. It'll cool off soon anyway. It's cooled now. You can't do it all in one go. You've got to put it back in the furnace from time to time. Sometimes you've got to go there and back all day. But it's all part of the craft. Now, get back to the forge and heat it all up again, like before.
bloody nice. There you go. You've got it finished. All that's left is to temper it, and the sword will be done. The rest is just easy. It's about those two idiot hands of mine, Venser and Franzi. They drove off with a cart full of goods towards Semin, and they never came back.
Do you want me to find them?
Just so. But more importantly, I want to know where my cart ended up, and especially the cargo. Go to Semin and find out what the bloody hell happened.
Have you any idea which way they might have gone? I could have a look along the way. Maybe their cart broke down or something.
There's only one road to Semin that can take a cart. It leads from Takov to Troskovitz, and then to the south. But I've got a bad feeling they got up to no good in Semin.
Those two hands of yours, Venser and Franzi, what can you tell me about them?
Can't tell you much. They're wandering laborers. I don't think they wanted to stay here with me for long. But these days, I can use all the help I can get.
Were they suspicious in any way?
No, they worked hard. They ain't no slackers. And I can't say that about everyone.
What was the cart carrying?
Bugger and bollocks. All sorts of stuff. I'd say Lord Semin wants to rearm his garrison with new equipment. There were some hunting swords, bastard swords, crossbow bolts. I also fixed the trigger on young Semin's crossbow. And some kitchen stuff. Sacks of charcoal, all sorts of things. There's a good month's work in that cartload.
All right. I'll get right on it then.
Go ahead. And if you find that pair of fools drunk, kick their asses for me.
Gladly. I'll kick some sobriety into them. Can I ask you...
What is it you need?
All right.
Time's wasting. Run along.
Greetings. Greetings.
Come here! Come here! Look what I have for you. Mutt, come here! Free!
Greetings to you. You have a kind master, eh,
Free!
Doggy.
Huh? Hey there! I have some nice wares here. Just take your pick.
Good day. Are you going far, Goodman?
Well, define far. Enough to be apprehensive, huh? You know how it is. If you as much as stick your nose out the door these days, someone will punch it.
I see you're in no danger, though. Fully armed with bonhomie.
Yes, well, mercifully, we apothecaries haven't any enemies. Who would bite the hand that's relieving their pain, eh?
You say you're skilled in the art of healing?
Well, I'm no physician, but I do know my ointments for whatever ails you. For ulcers, salvation, beauty. Wenzel Torvald, Master Apothecary, at your service. Of the famed establishment in Turnau. Hey, hey!
Where are you coming from?
I was paying my respects to my brother Oswald in Kuttenberg when I was called away on a case.
What case would that be?
Ah, well, by all accounts, it was an unsavory affair. A young girl murdered, only for her to up and bolt from the mortuary.
What? Are you serious?
Primo, she was never actually dead. Secundo, it was poison that placed her in that death-like state. Et tandem tertiam et finale. She brought it upon herself. So, as I say, it's an unsavory business when a young girl is driven out of her senses by a philandering nobleman.
Do you have anything interesting?
If it's herbs you're after, or alchemy you're in...
I'd like to discuss the price.
Warum nicht?
What would you say to this?
Well... Aye, you'll convince me with that price. Du wirst sicher zufrieden sein. Bis bald. Careful.
What's it like serving Lord Semin?
Well, I can't complain. And why would I? The old lord's such a good sort. I hardly ever get the chance to hand out a thrashing. And his son, older... Well, he's just your typical young lord. He enjoys life, rides through the forests and hunts.
Does Older go to the tournaments? Does he know how to fight?
He's really good with weapons. Captain Gnarly trained him well, but he's never been to a tournament, as far as I know. His father kept him on a short leash, so he could take care of the estate and not go gallivanting all over the place.
We were attacked by bandits recently by the pond. Do you know anything about them?
I heard about that. And if you were there, you were lucky to make it out with your life. It never used to be like this. It was sleepy as fuck. But the woods have become a dangerous place in the last few months. And there's more than poachers depriving the wolves of prey, and nomads thieving like magpies.
I'd like to find those bandits and get revenge.
I'm not surprised, but be careful. We can't be everywhere, and even my lads aren't keen on going in the woods. What's worse, those rocks of ours here make it a bloody maze. We could be searching for cutthroats in there till Judgment Day.
Why didn't you drive out those nomads ages ago?
Like I said, our old lord is a good man and has a soft heart.
So he won't do it?
He won't. In fact, he recently got into an argument with the Troskovitz bailiff, Thrush. I reckon Thrush would string them all up outright if he had the chance. Fortunately, the only gallows are at Trotsky, and only Burgrave Harshek decides who to hang.
What's the Trotsky Burgrave Hashek like?
Quite stern and tough. He hasn't been taking any shit as of late, all because of those at...
So he's in charge of taking care of those cutthroats?
Of course. As the Castle Burgrave, he's in charge of the safety in the region.
I'm looking for a friend of mine. A tall, fair-haired young man. Speaks like a nobleman.
Doesn't ring a bell, I'm afraid. I definitely haven't seen him.
I'm looking for the Takov blacksmith's cart. Have you seen it?
Loads of carts come past here. There's going to be a wedding, and they need supplies. Try asking Captain Gnarly. He keeps an eye on supplies. He'll probably be in the courtyard.
Thanks.
And watch yourself when you go into the courtyard.
Why?
We've got some wedding guests from Moravia. They're in pretty high spirits. It's still a while to the wedding, but them gents is already getting into the swing of things.
So I says to him, "No, father, I haven't been fornicating. I've just been loving my neighbour."
Hey! You alright there, laddie?
Oh, you should have seen him. He went as red as a cardinal's hat. Aye. Hey, servant, bring some wine.
Me? I'm not a servant.
Oh, I know. Old Serene is saving supplies for the wedding later. But you didn't need to bother your wee head about that.
Look, I'm not from here.
Oh. I didn't give a fuck what you pray. You speak our language, do you not?
Well, Yarko, seems to me this fella doesn't know how to behave toward his betters.
Aye. The old man's hired hands are lacking in manners. We'll soon fix that. Prepare to fight.
What's that?
The mangy fucking pup.
Put him in the shop.
Come on, you're... You ought to be ashamed. Have his beak in the dirt. Go on, send him hopping
Come on. Oh, you wee blasted!
The devil's name is fucking going on here?
What do you think's going on, Grandad? I'm teaching your people here how we do things.
Granddad?
Why, Grandad? An old captain like you probably still remember the foot.
True enough, Yurko. I am old. And I remember all sorts of things. Like you. When you were a little nipper running around here bare arse, with a ribbon in your hair, screaming out how you was Princess Sophie. Poor lad, hadn't a moment's peace from his big sisters.
What about that line?
Who in God's name are you?
Henry. The Takeoff blacksmith sent me. Radovan.
Blacksmith, eh? Then you'll have some explaining to do. Come along and never mind that fool Yurko. Young Samin's getting married, so we has to put up with his kin from Moravia.
We'll be needing a dozen geese. And I must tell Vashek to get 3 pigs ready for slaughter. And the carters will have to be sent to Yetchin to get at least a peck of poppy seed for cakes. And gingerbread spices. Oh, and wine, too. It's almost all gone, what we bought only last week.
Enter!
Sorry to intrude, sir. This is Henry, blacksmith Radovan's hand.
Oh, excellent. Dorothy, leave us now. Just make sure that there's plenty of everything so long as it doesn't cost too much.
But, sir...
Not another word! Leave us! So Radovan sent you alone. Who's going to unload it all? It's a whole cartload.
Yeah, Radovan sent me, sir, but not with the goods. The thing is, he's missing his cart, along with the carter in his hands.
What? But they never came here. Are you telling me they got lost?
Well, I couldn't tell you what happened to them, sir, but it's my job to find them.
There are all sorts of vermin roaming the countryside.
Oh, no need to imagine the worst right off, gnarly. Anyway, I need the load from that cart, so saddle up your old nag and we'll ride out, Captain. I could do with a breath of fresh air. I've had it up to the eyeballs with counting geese and pies.
What about Henry here, sir?
Well, what about him?
We could use an extra pair of hands. You know how my shoulder's acting up. Yurko is shit-faced, and your son...
The older has work to do. All right, take Henry with you if you want. Just so long as he doesn't slow us down.
Thank you, sir. So, lad, you going with us? I hope you're happy about it.
Yeah. I'll be glad to help you.
Oh, you reckon we can't manage on our own?
No. That's not how I meant it.
Take it easy, son. I'm only yanking your pizzle. By the way, the fellas at the gate say you came here on foot.
Yeah, I did.
Christ above. And how are you going to ride with us? On the back of my saddle? You're a bit big for that, ain't ya? And I'm a bit too old.
You've got a stud farm here, don't you? Couldn't I borrow one of your horses?
Aye. And then we'd never see hide nor hair of you, nor the animal again. We don't lend horses. But you're in luck. Our groom brought in a grey nag not long ago. Tell him you've got to ride out with us, and he'll give it to you for a decent price.
All right. Thanks.
Well, that should be that. Unless you've got any more questions.
Actually, there is something I'd like to ask about. This Yurko and his mates, who are they?
They're Lord Samin's kin. They're fine as long as they don't get too much...
Only they're from Moravia, so they're never far from the booze.
But what can I tell you, lad? Each to himself. Besides, they stick with the family when push comes to shove. And you can't say that about everyone.
And you, sir? What is it you do?
Well, son, I wonder if I haven't made a mistake about you. If you haven't figured me out by now, you can't be very bright.
No, I just meant what exactly is it you do for Lord Semmi? And your name isn't exactly very common.
I'm the captain here, and I'm sure I don't have to tell you what a captain does. As for my name, it's a nickname Lord Semin's grandpa gave me. May he rest in peace. When I joined his service as a young fella, I took my gnarly club with me. Wouldn't use anything else. I was used to it. And more than once helped me to, well, win an argument. I broke many a hard skull with it. And it's still in one piece. We've been together so long, we even share the same name.
You're lucky you didn't turn out to be Captain Knob.
Or Captain Headcracker. You're right.
I'd like to go and see that wedding.
Wouldn't we all, lad? And what would you do there?
Well, I heard Lord von Berghoff will be at the wedding, and I need to speak with him.
Son, I don't know if you're serious or yanking my pizzle. Anyways, you're Radovan's hand, ain't you? He'll be coming to the wedding. He's making a wedding gift for the groom. Stick with him, and maybe he'll take you with him.
We should probably get going.
My thoughts exactly. Off to the courtyard, then.